What's up, podcast world? Oh my Jesus. I am so excited to make this podcast because I've been wanting to make this podcast since I probably started podcasting because I need to talk about this. Definitely, I talk about this with myself, talk about it with clients, but I'm going to tell y'all the stories using myself because I'm a prime example of how money can change your mindset. And money mindset needs to change. And if you change it, it will change your life. So this podcast will change your life if you allow it to. So I hope that you allow it to. Okay, we're going to talk about money mindset as far as how it's so restrictive, how it will prevent you from everything. It will literally, if you change your mind about money and you let it change your mindset, you'll change your entire life. And I'm going to give you perfect examples and how I personally have changed my money mindset from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. And I'm not over here millionaire. I'm not Ivanka Trump over here. And I'm also just so you know, I'm not Dave Ramsey is not going to tell you what I'm about to tell you, but he doesn't look like you want to look either. He doesn't live the life that you want to live either. And he doesn't have what you have. So take it or leave it, right? Take it or leave all the information I'm about to tell you. I'm just giving you my personal opinion from my own journey, and that's it. So, okay, where do I start? Let's start back in 2014. So in 2014, that's when my whole journey started. I didn't have a credit card until 2014 because my parents lived by Dave Ramsey and they taught me how to manage my money. And I had a loan that was for my house, and I had a loan for my car, but even that was that was through the dealership. My house was obviously through. So I said I didn't have a credit card. I didn't have a actual credit card where I could go out and buy something on a credit card. I had loans for my house. I had loans for my car. That was it. All the way till 2014 when I applied for my first credit card. I was like 27 years old. And I had a $500 limit, and everybody laughs at me. Like when I told my friends, they were laughing at me, but it is what it is. So I got my first credit card at $500. My initial, so I do have good money management skills. Until that point, I didn't have any real, I guess, not pressure, but I wasn't ever tempted because I didn't have a credit card. So if I don't have a credit card, I can't mess up my credit, right? So in going into this and getting this first credit card with $500 limit, my deal with myself was you're going to pay it off every month. If you can't afford $500 every month, you might not be able to afford it right now, whatever you're buying, right? But if you can't pay for it within a month, then we need to evaluate your spending, right? So that was my deal, my initial deal. And I didn't know really anything about credit cards at the time, like as far as interest and how that worked because I didn't have one at the time. So, but I did know that if you pay it off every month, then you don't have to pay any interest. So that's what I did. And again, $500, if I couldn't pay it off, if I couldn't pay that off, then I need to reevaluate my spending. So I'm looking at this note that should be updated, but it's not because I'll just finish writing a bunch of stuff. Okay. But so I just kind of have to wing a little bit of this, but so just up front, initially knowing that if I just paid off every month, I don't have to pay interest. That's all I knew, bare minimum, right? So therefore I pulled back on every expense as far as I don't buy alcohol, and I get clients to do a budget. How much money do you spend on dining out? How much money you spend on alcohol? How much money you spend on things that are dumb and that don't serve you? And then especially when they start to say that they don't have the money or even like not clients, people that are saying, I need a coach, but I don't have the money. Well, where's your money? Where's it going? Figure that out, because you probably do have the money to hire a coach. You just are spending it and you don't even know where it is. So I've had people, I'm very cut and dry as a friend, as a coach for sure. And they've told me they don't have the money to hire me as a coach. All right, well, where's your money going? Let's figure it out. And they will literally do their budget and see that if they just cut back on dining out, alcohol is huge, right? and spending money where you don't need to be going to TJ Maxx every week, every weekend. You don't need to be going to 99% of the things that you spend money on right now. You don't have to, you just want to. So being able to, and that's the one thing my parents, when it comes to money, for sure, if you know how to make decisions between wants and needs, and you're honest with yourself, you're never going to be in debt, ever. Because that's how I lived my whole first 27 years, by just only spending money on what I needed, not spending money on what I wanted. And then going into getting this credit card, it was because I needed to spend money on what I wanted. And even within that, I had to have boundaries, right? I had to have restrictions that I put on myself, so I didn't get into a situation, a debt situation, or any situation that I didn't want to be in, right? Because ultimately, money causes anxiety. Money still to this day for myself causes anxiety. Don't ever think that people that have money don't have anxiety. So even my richest, most rich friends that have money to just do whatever they want with have anxiety about money. So, and a couple things that throughout this podcast, I'll tell you different things that my dad told me, pieces of wisdom my dad told me that really stuck with me through all my years, and still to this day stick with me. And one of them is, people don't have money because they spend money. So people that you look at, that you say, oh, they have so much money, know how they got there is because they didn't spend money. So where are you spending money that you don't need to spend money on? That's number one thing to figure out. If you don't have the money to do anything, whatever it is that you're saying that you don't have the money to do, and I have done a podcast, this is a something that will limit a woman in their definitely career, in their physique journey, in their health journey. They will say, I don't have the money to hire a coach. No, you do. You just don't until you don't know it. So let's figure it out, right? So people get there, and then, so let me keep going, and then you can always, this is a huge one that I literally remind myself of every time I spend money, and it's like a gut-wrenching money, right? Like and I'm gonna get into this in a minute, when I purchased all of this equipment for my gym at home, it was like, and I remember posting on social media, I was like, literally, I'm so excited, but I feel like I'm about to throw up all at the same time. That's a constant feeling, right? Especially when you are taking risks, especially as an entrepreneur, especially even if you're not an entrepreneur, but you are willing to take risks, it feels like you're about to throw up every time you make a decision. And you don't know where the money's gonna come from, but let me tell you, it always will come. If you know how to make money, you will always make money. That's what my dad told me. If you, and I'll say this again, write this down. If you know how to make money, you will never run out of money. And so your scarcity, your fear of hiring a coach is because you think that you're gonna run out of money on the other end if you spend this money now. And I want you to know, if you know how to make money, you will never run out of money. And again, I have to have that. I have it written in my notes, in my accounting notes, in my every single day I look at notes, in my decision notes, and within my decision boundaries when I'm going and I'm trying to figure out work through a decision that I need to make. One of my boundaries, and this is going to kind of go into kind of bouncing a little all over the place, but in 2022, I told myself my 2022, I guess, New Year's resolution, if that's what you want to call it, promise to myself is what I want to call it, was I'm no longer going to let money or lack of money make my decisions. So in my decision notes, and where I go to make decisions, big decisions, any decisions, but definitely big decisions, it says, you do not let money make this decision. You make this decision, because you can always make more money. And so that's going to look like, can I make more money? Yeah. That's also going to look back, I'm going to cut back on all these expenses. I'm going to stop going out. I'm going to stop traveling. Obviously this year, and I've been talking about it on social, I'm not traveling. I've traveled literally out of 365 days the last 3 years. I traveled at least 200 of those 365 on all 3 years straight. And this year, I'm not traveling, not that much at least. I'm traveling a little bit, but not that much. And a lot of it has to do with where I'm spending my money. Obviously, that's always going to have, you always are going to, if you're smart at least, have to watch and balance yourself out through all the areas of life. And if you can align those together, then you're going to maximize your benefits. So an example of that I'm going to go into, going back to how I'm going to tell you to apply for a credit card. No, the 3 years, so 2021. Actually, I'm going to go in order because it does align with it. 2024, I started my training business, and I got my first credit card, $500 limit. Gave my deal with myself. You got to pay it off every month. Perfect. Did that. That was easy. I was working at the restaurant. I was managing full time. I was coaching full time. This was in person, and I had a little bit of movement online coaching, but it was my main money was obviously from the Francis, from catering, from doing all the things that I did with that, and then building my in-person business. In 2017, I went pretty much full-time coaching. I was only working at the weekends, only working events, all these big events that we had, like Mother's Day, all these things that I always wanted to work those. Sometimes I miss it, like not the events, but like Mother's Day, because I love it. I loved Valentine's Day, Father's Day, my favorite days to work at the restaurant. So by 2017, let me stay on track, went almost full-time, needed to be between full-time coaching Monday through Friday, and then working at the restaurant. And then I was more moving towards the online space because that's where that's what I had to do. Like I didn't have any more time, right? So I needed things. I needed a laptop. I needed just different things that, again, I needed. There was it would make it a lot more simple, and it would make business more efficient. So I increased my card to $1,000. And again, same deal with myself. You can pay it off every month. You should be able to. And here's the thing: I never once in all these different steps sat down and did numbers. And that, my dad would 100% agree with me, but my mom would probably be like, "I gotta do the pros and cons." Well, sometimes you're just not going to be able to do the pros and cons. You're going to need to make a decision for yourself and for your future self right now. And whatever comes of that decision, you're going to make sure it works, right? And so I was just talking to a client the other day about this, and about, right now she's in a place in her life where life is about to change, and decisions are going to big decisions. Buying a house is going to have to be made. And that's something that, if you can try to calculate it, you can try to calculate all the things that life is going to force you to buy, to purchase, right? And if you try to do that, you're probably going to drive yourself crazy, because you can't. You're never going to have a plan when it comes to these big decisions that ultimately have to be made for you for life. And so what I'm about to tell you is what I did personally to help me build self-trust. And it started with that $500 limit. From 2014 to 2017, so 3 years, I paid that $500 limit every month. That was slowly building self-trust, but slowly building trust that I'm going to pay it off. And not only am I going to pay it off, I'm going to not buy things that I don't need. And that doesn't mean that I never bought things I didn't need, but I was very intentional with things that I bought, right? I didn't go to TJ Maxx. I didn't spend money that was stupid, period. I definitely didn't dine out. I didn't do things that were just like instant gratifications. I didn't spend money that way. And it was all because then I couldn't pay it off. So then I was going to break that deal with myself, right? So moving forward, so building that self-trust is what all this time I did. And again, you build your self-trust by creating these boundaries that, if I stay within this $500 limit, I'm going to be okay. Because, I knew I made, let's say, $2,000 a month. So I made $2,000. So if I'm going to do quick numbers, let's do it like that, right? So that I felt confident in. I did that, execute that for those 3 years, built that self-trust. Went up to $1,000 in 2017. Again, same deal with myself. And again, surface level money, like math, I know how much I make. I know that if I cut back on, let's just say, a couple things, this should not be a problem. This $1,000 a month max, even if that was just the limit. I didn't mean I was going to spend $1,000. It just was the limit. So same deal with myself, kept that deal, kept that promise. In 2019, I went full-time coaching, and I got a new business card. So I got another card. I didn't want to so I needed a bigger amount. of loan pop like limit. But I knew I had learned, here's the thing, as you learn in life, right? I had learned that with credit cards, you can get them, they can have benefits. Like you can earn points, blah, blah, blah. I had a business. One of my best friends, it's like my business coach. She was like my life coach, and she's still my life coach. But she is very successful in her business. And anyway, we were just talking about my $1,000 limit, and I was talking about how I needed to get another credit card because I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. She was a client of mine in person. And anyway, so she was telling me about her credit card and how it earns points, blah, 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 blah. So that's the route that I went. And that was a Capital One card. I can share these. So I'm going to try and link them. I don't know. But if you have any questions, you can just DM me. But until I get all that linked. But it was a Capital One card, and it earned points. Like, it was double points for everything. And so I got that. And there was a $3,000 limit when I first got it. And mind you, my credit is really good because I don't have very much. Like, I have my house, my car, and then I have my $500 so I didn't have a lot of money being borrowed, right? And so, okay, got that. And so that was 2019, got that $3,000 limit. And I still kept that deal with myself and so those were the times I was buying things for my in-person, because I was training in person, barbells and just random things that my clients needed. I had that was part of the deal that I made with the Francis going into that deal, was I had to have a place to train myself, and I had to have a place to train my clients. And so they set me up pretty good with a little gym in our warehouse where I had a lot of things that I needed to train myself and train them. And then I just wanted to add to that, whatever it was. And so that was there, and that was 2019. And so in 2020, I hired my first coach, and I put it on that credit card, on that business credit card. And ultimately, that was, all of these decisions, to be honest with you, altered the rest of my life. But that being one of them, definitely one of them. And I had never done that as far as like put one purchase. That was my biggest purchase outside of my house and my car that I had ever made, definitely ever put on my credit card. So that limited me on the other end, right? If I'm gonna spend $2,500, it was like 6 months, I think $2,500 or $2,800. It was like pushing the limit. Like, I couldn't spend nothing. I was like, do it. So I use flexible dieting, if you didn't know. And so I was like food budgeting, everything. I was making everything fit in my macros. It was a fun time. And I still do that. I still call it a food budget, a pantry clean out, freezer clean out. I do that with my clients all the time. And it just helps so much teach you about tracking macros and flexible dieting. And it's just like spending the money, but it's the same concept. It's the same concept. Okay. So hire my first coach, put it on my business credit card. And again, I stayed with that. You pay it off every month. So I built that trust with myself, and I'm very proud of myself. And then, to be honest with you, it all kind of came together for me just the last couple of years, as far as like what I was doing, that self-trust, what I was doing within those years of me paying this off every month and not spending stupid money or money stupidly. So I went 2020 higher. Okay. So 2021, did my first show. I bought my bikini, heels, all the things. And everybody always says, like, competing is such an expense. You ever the hobby of hunting, the hobby of golf, the hobby of any hobby that you are passionate about is gonna cost you money. And here's the thing, you're gonna spend money no matter where your hobby is. So I suggest you figure out your hobby that you like and dive into there. Don't worry about money spent there. If you like it, then that's all that matters. Here's the problem is when you don't know what you want, and you don't know what you like, and you don't have a hobby outside of, you got 20 different hobbies with probably 20 different people, and then that's going to add up. So let's literally just, what do you really, really love? Like, my husband loves hunting, and he loves fishing, and he loves to golf. But guess what? Golf's number 3. If I had to put it in order of importance to him, it would be fishing, because 1, you can do it all year long, and 2, hunting, and then 3, golf. And because of that, he don't care how much money he spends on these 3 things, because he don't spend any money outside of these 3 things. And so, again, you're going to spend the money, or you're not going to be a happy living person. You're going to be in your house sheltered. So competing it's no more expensive than any other hobby that you love. So don't use that as an excuse to not compete or to whatever. Just don't use money as an excuse ever, really, if you want something. So 2021, did my first show, my first two shows, my first season. Everything came together. God was like, this is clear as day what you were supposed to be doing. Everything just got very clear in 2021 on my purpose. And so going into 2022, this is when I talk about life-changing decisions. This is one of the life-changing decisions. When I told myself, you're not going to let money make any decisions for you moving forward. Not this year. And that's another thing. I didn't say for the rest of my life. I just said in 2022, you're not going to let money make any decisions for you. That's it. You can do anything for 1 year, right? Just 2022. In 2023, we'll see how it goes. We'll reflect, we'll see how it goes. And we can make a decision from there, how we're going to spend money. But right now, every decision that you need to make is going to cost money. And in order for you to change, in order for you to grow your business, you're going to have to spend it. So spend it. And again, I kept these boundaries of you're going to pay it off every month. And I told myself in January 2022, you're going to keep this. You're going to pay it off every month, even if that means that you have to take some out of your savings account. But here is your minimum that you are going to, here is your bare minimum amount that you need in this account, in this account, in this account. And if it's over that, then you can pull it out and you can pay it off, right? You're still going to spend money smart. You're still not going to buy dumb stuff. You're still not going to dine out and travel and do all the things that are unnecessary. You're still going to be very intentional with every dime that you spend. But you're just going to have a bigger, not only a bigger budget, but more open mind, because you don't know where these opportunities are going to lead, and you'll never know if you don't go for them. So 2022, that's what my promise to myself. You're not going to let money make your decisions. That was the year that I went to my first ACB. So that's 2022. Yeah, 2022, yeah. So first ACB fashion show in Kansas City. Changed my life. Met Kara, changed my life, literally. That was the first year I traveled. I did a road trip to that show by myself for 2 weeks. Traveled, figured out I can hit my macros, I can hit my steps, I can hit my water, I can hit my workouts, I can do everything I do every single day at home. I can check in with my clients, I can check in with my coaches. I can do everything that I do at home on the road. And that opened every door to lead me to where I am today, every single door. So that was 2022. So let me see. Okay. So that was a big year for me. And like I said, I met Kara, went and did the photo shoot with Ashley K, all on a credit card that I did pay off every month. And I did take some hits in my savings account. But again, I never got below that bare minimum. And even that bare minimum, what is that covering you, right? So let's just say, and I'm just kind of throwing numbers out there, if it takes you $2,000 a month to live bare minimum, as in that covers just your utilities and your food, not your food dining out, you're just straight food from home, right? $2,000. What is your bare minimum? All right, let's do that for 3 months. That would be, and again, Dave Ramsey's not going to tell you this, but that's how I did it. And that's your bare minimum for 3 months in here. And then I don't know if y'all ever read the Total Money Makeover. I read that in 2010, probably the year I bought my house. And that $1,000, he's like, you need $1,000 to have, and you never have to touch it, right? This is a thing called a safety. I don't know. And I finally got that. It was I probably bought my house thinking I don't know, 2009, maybe 2010. But I read that book before, but it took me at least 3 years to get $1,000 where I never had to touch it, right? Where every month I'd have to go, when I'm paying bills, go take from this $1,000. And it took me at least 3 years to not have that, right? So I had all these little, my bare minimums that make me subconsciously okay. And even sometimes today, that doesn't make me okay. I have to ask my husband just, hey, are we gonna run out of money? And he says no, and I say okay. And then I'm just, all of a sudden, it's no big deal. Like whatever anxiety it was no anxiety. And when I realized that too, that's a whole nother realization, that all I needed from him was him saying, no, we ain't never gonna run out of money. He don't even know. We don't even share money. So how could he even know? Right? So when I realized that it was that simple, all I needed to do is hear that from him. That was a game changer. So now when anxiety creeps up about money, whatever that's from, all I have to do is either, if I need to hear it from him, then I just ask him and he tells me. But I'm trying to get to where I don't even need that. I could just be that. That's the ultimate goal, right? And so I could say, hey, chill, girl. You ain't gonna run out of money. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay, so let me go back. So just make that mental note. Okay, so this is 2022. I got approved for another card. So this is where everything came full circle at this point in 2022, when I knew that I needed to build this gym at my house. If you didn't know, till 2022, my online business, I built it in my bedroom. So every night I could literally, when we're going to bed, I can literally see my computer. And I love my job. It still didn't really bother me mentally. I needed a place where I could record podcasts, where I could record videos, where I could do all the things that I do on my YouTube channel. I couldn't have done all that in my bedroom, right? And the other option in my head was go get a job at a gym and do all my video and whatever I need to do there. But that's not even, I never worked at a gym. I didn't work at a gym because they want me to do things their way, and that just wasn't how I was going to do it. And it's not because my way is better. It's just my way is my way, and it works. And I didn't never want to do that. So there was no option outside of build your own gym. And so I had been thinking about this. I mean, I posted on social media in 2019, 2018, probably, my plans in my head about building this gym, like building onto our house and building this gym. But again, I never pulled the trigger because I never had money. Like I didn't. And so finally, when in 2022, I was like, all right, well, you've been talking about this since 2019. So unless you're going to get another job, or unless you're about to hit the jackpot, you need to make a decision, because otherwise it's just going to continue to be a dream. And so I applied for a card. Again, I'm still very not as educated on credit cards and how everything works, but I did a little bit of research on that. I knew about the points, so I knew that I wanted to get a card that had benefits. I also knew I wanted to get a card that had a 0% interest for a long time, or a big enough time where I felt confident in paying the amount off. And I didn't have a budget with this gym. It was literally just like our house. I just started, because that's the option I gave myself. You're not going to continue to think about it. Like with the house, we were talking about it. I'm tired of talking about it. Shit, let's do something or stop talking about it. One or the other. And for both of them, let's start it. Let's do it. Screw it. And everything always works out. Just make that note. And if you haven't proven to yourself that, I want you to start trying to prove that to yourself, that everything always works out. But I bet you if you look back on your life right now, you could probably see how that would make sense. It always worked out. Always worked out. So I got a loan. I got a credit card, got a loan, bought all my equipment on it, and it was a 21-month interest free. That was what I was looking for. So I could pay it off over. So I took let's just say $15,000 divided by 21 months, and that's what I paid. And anytime that I could pay more, I would pay more. But 21 months later, everything's paid off. I paid no interest, and I got my gym. So that was, again, all that. I wouldn't have trusted myself enough to do that if I wouldn't have put in all of the trust work beforehand, right? Okay, and then the next big purchase, 2023, after my 2023 season, I knew I needed to get my breast augmented. People were like, oh yeah, you needed to, but I did. So I got my first boob job in 2005, and after my collarbone, obviously I lost a lot of weight, a lot of body fat, and a lot of body recomp. After that, they were just old. Jesus. And I broke my collarbone in 2012, and the way it healed, because I didn't have surgery, it did shift my chest plates, moved a little bit inward, and with building muscle on top of that, when I got on stage, it was very obvious that it was not balanced. And for me, I'll never forget my 2023 season. I got off the stage, the second show at Masters Nationals, and I told Katie, I was like, I'm getting surgery this year, because it was in my head. I had fixed it. All I needed was one padding on one side to make them look even. But shit, I'm not trying to work every day at being balanced all year long, all years, to get on stage and still be not balanced, or still have to worry about being balanced, something that's surgically done. Like, doesn't make no damn sense. So I told her in that moment, I was like, I'm gonna get this done this year, because that gave me a whole year to, like, that was in July that I told her. I said, I'm gonna get it done at the end of this year, so that it's in my building seasons in the winter time. I'm not gonna be missing too much. It's not like we could be at the camp or anything like that. It'd be the perfect time. And then I'm gonna, obviously, that was 2024. All of that was about building season. Healed, like, my doctor was like, I've never seen somebody heal like you. Well, it was because I already knew what I was going to do. I knew how I was going to approach this. I actually did my first podcast on how I approached that surgery and how I recovered from that surgery so well. Is podcast number 1. But anyway, one of the reasons I had not done it up until that point was because of the amount of money it cost. It cost some money, and I didn't have the money that I was willing to spend on that at the time. Up until this point, because up until this point, it was not as important as it was. And if you probably saw, like, you as a human, like as a person just looking at me, would not even notice the difference between, especially in my building season, between before and after. I notice, obviously, the judges, I dang sure notice, just because I look symmetrical. And then obviously my husband notices. So there was a couple things I just didn't, outside of the imbalance when I'm lean, like, I didn't like, and I think I talked about it in that first podcast. But up until this point, my point is that it wasn't important enough for me to take the money or try to figure out how to get the money until this point. And so again, I got a whole different card, because I was still paying on my gym on that big loan that I took out in 2022, sorry. So I got another card, another amount, like it was like 18 months interest free, but it was a lower amount. So I was like, I could do that. Good, like, perfect. All right, cool. And I really wasn't too worried about the points, really, to be honest with you, with either one of those two cards, because I knew that this was all I was going to do. I was going to make this purchase, and then I was going to close the account. And so that's what I've done. And so with both of them, the gym and my boob job, put it on a card, paid it off, paid no interest, and closed the account. Very simple. And, I don't want to say old Gracie, but young Gracie would have been like, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to take out any money, because we don't want to owe nobody. And as much as I don't want to owe anybody, that kept me where it kept me. And owing somebody and I think about, like, all the people in this world owe all the money that they owe, and you worried about $10,000, like, girl, take you a loan out and get you some, get whatever. I mean, as long as, and it's all, my key takeaway at the bottom of my little note, it says, I'm not encouraging you to go broke. I'm not encouraging you to do anything. I'm encouraging you to be open to different. If right now you blame your inability to do anything on time, money, or energy, but all three of them. If you blame the fact that you can't hire a coach on time, money, and energy, this is for you. This podcast is for you, because it is for you. All of those are in your control, and all of those are going to be a mindset that you have to change if you want to change. My mindset had to change about money if I wanted my life to change, and it sure as hell did. As soon as I stopped saying it's okay if you owe, as long as you don't let it pile up, right? We're going to have these boundaries. We're going to not be stupid. I'm not unlearning all the money mindsets that learned up until this day, I'm applying it all. And I'm applying it to in being smarter, and I'm applying it to continue building my body, my dream, my business, my life, right? So the that's all the podcast. Let me just go give you away these key points at the end so that you can put it all together. If I would have not built the trust in my actions, but paying less all those years, right? Then I wouldn't have been able to. Then I wouldn't be in the position I am today. And I think I said that earlier. So, like, literally, just listen to yourself. If you blame money on anything, like I just was talking to a client about this because her coaching contract is about to come up, and literally this happens every single client when their coaching contract is coming up on an end, they start getting anxiety. That's your one red flag. If you are with a coach or whatever it is, this applies to everything, and you're getting anxiety about not having that person for whatever reason, that's your red flag to keep the person. And it sounds so silly. Like, I just literally paid my coach for year 6, and I do this for a living. And it's not because I didn't even let myself think that you're not gonna continue with my coach. God will tell me when to stop, right? Until then, I'm just gonna keep on watching my money over here and giving my money over here, and that's because that's what's proven to make me feel the best, make me think the best, make me be the best, make me be the best wife, coach, all the things. So let that be a red flag, because you're not going to make any more money. Not anytime soon, and hopefully you do. Hopefully you do. And you'll be able to pay it off. You'll be able to pay off whatever you're loaning. But don't let money prevent you from, don't let money make your decisions. And I actually did a podcast about this. I think it's called Don't Let Money Make Your Decisions. And earlier on, I don't know what number, but it's early, 1 through 20 probably. Go listen to it. And I'm glad that I finally got to be able to do this, and because I talked to, so many people about just go apply for a credit card. I mean, obviously they're not gonna give you a credit card if you got shitty credit. So if you're a responsible adult, then you're going to be responsible even more so within this decision. But if this would literally take away anxiety from you, which for me, it does. Literally, I went from almost debilitating anxiety before the gym, knowing that I was ready to do it. And then even looking at, let me just budget it. No, you ain't gonna be able to budget this. Not without wasting time and having so much anxiety about it. Just do it. Just do it. And when I just did it, though and again, go back to post it on social, though subconsciously I was like, all right, now you got $20,000 loan out, we got to make money. Obviously, it's still, though that was subconscious, it's still the 21 months, being able to pay it off in 21 months. I was like, okay, I can do this. I can pay $500 a month. I gotta work, but that I could do that. So don't let it be a red flag. If you say that you don't have the money, I hope that you, one, just ask yourself, do I really want this? If you really want it, then I want you to figure out how to get it. And it could be as simple as just go online and go online, and I'm going to link a couple of links to the credit cards that I've used. Again, not a Dave Ramsey over here. I can give you as much guidance as you want. Take it or leave it, all the things. But don't let it hold you back. Don't let it cause you anxiety. You have the rest of your life to make money. And you will. If you know how to make money, and you know how to spend money, and you know how to save money, you will have the money that you need in the time that you need it, right? But I want you to just go back to that 2022 Gracie decision of, I'm no longer going to let money make my decisions. I, Gracie, am going to make my decisions. I want you to have that mindset this year for the rest of your life, and just watch how, and then I want you to reflect back every single week, every single day even, reflect back every single year, how much did my life change from this one decision? And to be honest with you, if I had all my friends that are, entrepreneurs and just successful business people, come on my podcast, which I do plan on having like speakers and do interviews, they would tell you that the same thing. Like, take a risk, especially if it's going to change the way you think, the way you act, the way you live. You owe yourself that. And you don't even know how long you're going to be here. So don't hold out on yourself right now. Damn sure don't hold out on yourself due to the lack of money or fear of money. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your kids. Don't do that to your husband. Don't do that to your future self. Just take the loan out and do what you got to do. Hire your coach. Hire somebody. Go do a bikini show. Whatever it is that you want to do, go do it. That's it. Okay. So I hope that y'all have a great, it's a Monday, great Monday. I'm actually about to jump on live, talk about training, and I'm really excited for that. So if you have not seen my new G4 community, which I'm pumped about, today was I got my first member, and I'm like my first paid member, and I'm so pumped. So my G4 community, a free space for all things mindset, training, nutrition, competing, lifestyle, marriage. We talk about everything, pregnancy. We're going to be talking about everything over here in this G4 community, so I'm going to drop that below. Please come over there. If you want to learn, you don't need to go anywhere else. So you're going to learn everything you need right here. And yeah, so really excited. If you, Gracie_Record_fit, I'm going to link my G4 community down below. Again, it's a free membership. I do have a paid membership. It's $40 a month. You can come do that. You can come do my one-on-one coaching if you want to, like wherever you are on your whole body health journey. I got a place for you. And it's going to be the best investment that you ever make. I promise you. So have a good Monday. And let's just make good decisions. Be smart. But also be selfish with ourself. Because that's the best way we can give our best self to the people that we love. Is that we are selfish with ourselves and our self-love. Okay. Have a great day.